In this video, I will be talking about pressure-treated lumber or certain types of pressure-treated lumber and certain type of fasteners that might not be compatible because of the chemical reaction from the chemicals in the pressure-treated lumber and the chemicals in the hanger. So if you are using pressure-treated lumber, and you just went down to your local home improvement center and you pick up the stuff that it's for indoor use, you're probably not going to have a problem with it. But if you go, you're in the upper part of the United States where it's snowing, it's raining, you're dealing with, more moisture, and you need to get pressure-treated lumber that is going to have a little more chemicals in it to make it last longer under these conditions. Then you're going to need to make sure that you either, number one, put something between the hanger and the lumber, or use approved hangers and fasteners. So here's something that I came across in an article that was written about 15 years ago in one of the popular home building, home remodeling journals. And they were suggesting to use something like this. And this is kind of the way that it was drawn in their illustration. They had the roofing paper, 15-pound roofing paper, and it went around the lumber, and it separated the hanger from the lumber. So it provided a separation point, something that wouldn't allow the chemical reaction to occur. Now, the first problem I have with this type of situation is that any moisture that gets trapped behind the paper, remember this is water resistant paper. If you're going to use waterproofing membrane, this could be even a bigger problem. So if you're going to use water resistant paper, this will allow moisture to come through the paper, a little bit of moisture. But if you're using waterproofing materials, then the moisture is going to remain trapped in there, and it could remain trapped in there for a long period of time. And that would, of course, lead to you solving one problem, the fact that the corrosion between the chemically treated lumber and the chemically fabricated metal hangers isn't going to be a problem, but the wood's going to rot. So I'm not a big fan of this particular method here, but would suggest that if you are going to build something with pressure-treated lumber, this would apply to any pressure-treated lumber. And of course, that would be to make sure that you use the approved fasteners, the approved building hardware, connectors, nails, screws, lag bolts, washers, everything. And I've heard that stainless steel works great. You're not going to have a problem with that. And I checked out the pricing. It's not that ridiculous for something like this, for a ledger on a smaller deck. And but again, just because the manufacturers approve these materials doesn't mean that they are always going to work, especially when you get down to the beach areas where you got the salt you got to deal with, or areas where there's a lot of snow, moisture, ice, stuff like that over long periods of time. So remember, this is just a suggestion. If you don't want to deal with any of this, I say lose the ledger, get rid of it, put a beam underneath it. And this might solve a couple of problems. You get rid of the building hardware. You don't have to worry about the corrosion. And of course, you don't have to worry about the penetration through the building. You know, when you take and you put a ledger on there and you have to attach it with lag bolts or whatever you're going to do. I mean, I've seen people, they're putting these like earthquake connectors on these joists to make sure that they're connected to the house even stronger. Just some of the stuff I've seen over the years, it just gets a little ridiculous. You know, if you're going to go through all of this problem, you've got to connect the deck to the house. That's one thing. But if you can, accept the fact that, you know what, I think I'm going to be better off with a beam, no ledger, then this is where I stand right here. This would be my preferred method. You can take and just simply put a space between the building, the siding, stucco, whatever, and your joist. The footings can be moved over so that they don't interfere with the structural footings for the exterior walls. It can cantilever a little bit. And again, no metal corrosion. You don't have to worry about it. These can be approved fasteners down here, and you can hope for the best. And another thing I need to point out, let's not get carried away. You know, I've seen a lot of people, they build stuff, and I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on this, where they go and they have all of these new materials and they use it and they waterproof everything, and then they get a little hole somewhere, it leaks, the water has no place to go, it accumulates and just destroys a large section of the house. And then the builders come on and they say, whoa, take a look at my mistake that I made. It's like, whoa, you know, here's this. How about this? You know, let's just not attach it to the house. Then we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about it destroying the house. If the deck falls apart in 10 years, at least it hasn't done any damage to the house. So hope it helps. If it does, hit the thumbs up button. And if you've had experience with pressure-treated lumber and stainless steel, feel free to share it with us in the comment area.